Hey, what's up? What's happening? This is Bobby V Vivid, and I'm glad you're here for another installment of the Atypical Parent. Um, we have lots to talk about today. We are going to discuss co-parenting. That's so much fun. That's what we all want to hear. That's what the goal is. The major goal is to show the kid that they are loved by both their father and their mother. There is no other way around it. You're going to run into all kinds of problems if you don't do it the right way. Um, but first, before we dive into that, let me thank you for being here. Let me thank you for hanging out. This is new, so make sure you are hitting that follow button, hitting that subscribe button. Uh, you can find me everywhere else on TikTok, Instagram. I am Bobby V Vivid on Twitter. It's Bobby V Vivid one, and Twitch is also Bobby Vivid. So if you guys want to, if you want to support me elsewhere, please go check that shit out. And it's all good. We're just gonna make a big old Vivid family over here. Uh, let's continue. Let's go on. Let's get into it. Let's talk co-parenting. What is it? What is co-parenting? The definition, if you Google what is co-parenting, you're gonna find a description that says sharing the single duties of raising a child. So if you think about it that way, no matter if you are married with somebody, left them, gone, you are sharing the duties and responsibilities of raising said child. So you can do it with the mother. I know some instances you're doing it with the grandparents or a sister or a brother or a friend. Um, with co-parenting, you need to know that both parties love the child, and that is going to create a very, very healthy child. One thing I want to stress to you is don't worry, it's not going to be easy. And I know I said don't worry, but the more you worry, the more stress you're going to put on your child. That you're going to have problems with the other parent. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to think that each of you knows the way to raise that child. And in all honesty, there's a good chance neither one of you knows what you're doing. I was a 17-year-old dad fighting with my baby mama for what? We were kids ourselves. We didn't know how to raise a child. So you guys have to remember that, and remember that when you're talking to each other, that neither one of you really know what you're doing. You need to discuss and push forward for that child. So there is going to be stress. It's good. The stress levels are going to run high. Don't beat yourself up too bad. That's the number one thing I can say. Um, I do recommend seeking a therapist of some way. Either be a relationship therapist where all three of you can go in and talk and discuss things, or each of you singly. I always recommend that a child should be in therapy going through a divorce or a separation. It's great for them to have a third party person that they can talk to, that they don't feel that is going to not like them, or saying I agree with that or I agree with mom. There, a child most likely is never going to tell you that. I deal with it with my daughter all the time. She just doesn't want to talk about things when it has to do with choosing a side or picking a way to go. Therapy is amazing for that. And dads, hey, listen, it's okay for you to go to therapy too. Don't be the tough guy. Don't be the um stereotypical I can't do this because I'm a man mentality. We need to get rid of that. It's 2022 now. Everybody goes to therapy. Everybody talks to somebody, because those thoughts and those feelings that you're going to get in your head are going to beat you up like indefinitely. It's gonna I have many of nights that I cry now because I didn't then, because I was that stereotypical man that wouldn't go to therapy and wouldn't do anything. I didn't start going to therapy myself until my daughter had a suicide attempt in 2020 was the first one, and we had another one in 2021, very beginning of 2021. very stressful time for me, and me and her started doing family counseling. It was just me and her. Uh, Other people around didn't want to be involved, so that's on them. But I wanted to do what was best for my daughter, so that's what I did. So maybe if you want to do family based counseling, that is amazing. I very highly recommend it. Laura, if you see this, thank you so much for what you did for me and Bailey through that time. Um, I know there's a good chance you might, so big shout out to you. Now let me jump into some statistics here because like I feel like we really need to know about this. I am reading, I just wrote it all down. I got a lot of this information from justgreatlawyers.com. They have a great spreadsheet. I will put the link in the description and you guys can check it out yourself. But I want you to think about something for a minute. A quarter of the children in the United States, a quarter of children in the United States under 21 have a parent living outside of the house. That's 21.9 million children that are living in a single family household. That blows my mind. I mean, and it grows every day, every day. The more we are in this society where it's you just knock somebody up and walk away, it's going to be like that. And mind you, a lot of these are based off of court findings and court statistics and government assistance. So I want you to think about, all right, so these are the reported cases. I've never been on any kind of assistance with Bailey. I have never been, nothing has ever been a court order. So who's to say? I mean, I got lucky going through our separation at such a young age. We just talked things out and it was good at times and bad at times, but we never really got the courts involved. So if you can do that, that's great. If you don't have that capability with your partner, you can always get a mediator that doesn't have to do with courts, or you can go to court. Dads, be very, 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 very careful of what you do and what you say during these times. The courts are so tremendously hard on men that we almost always lose out. 4 in 5 custodial parents are women. 4 in 5. That means 20% of men have their child. 20%. And that's as of 2018, I think was the statistics I read. It blows my mind. I can't believe that that's even a thing. Like, I don't know how many men are just not standing up or whatnot, but it's sad. So, guys, be there for your children. If if you know that the mother is on drugs or the mother is, beating or putting your child in harm's way, it is your duty to get that kid out of that household. It is your duty as a father to keep your child safe and free from harm. I don't want to hear, she's better off. She's better off. The courts, if that mother's bad, the courts are gonna know and they're gonna find out. I mean, you may need to get yourself a lawyer, but that. And honestly, I do apologize that I was trying to research help for single fathers, and I only came across 2 websites. And one is for singlefathers.com and the other one is Fathering Together. ForSingleFathers.com is based out of Baltimore, Maryland, and I couldn't figure out where Fathering Together is. Fathering Together seems to be a more national organization, but I'll put links to both of their websites in the description as well, so you guys can check them out. It looks like they help with legal fees or finding homes or stuff that us as single fathers have a hard time finding. And it's tough. Anyway, most states have a age limit or they take into consideration what the child's preference is, if they want to live with their mother or father or grandmother or whatever. Most courts have that. I know in Pennsylvania the age is, it used to be 12. I think it's 13 now. I know in Tennessee it's 14. Um, and I believe Texas is also 14 that they take into consideration. I would say not that not that Texas government's very good right now, but that's another topic for another time for another show. I'm talking parenting, not anything else before that. Uh, I still can't believe that 4 and 5 number. That just blows my mind. I knew it was low, but I didn't know it was that low. I thought maybe 2 and 5, maybe 3 and 5, maybe it was a little 40-60. I didn't realize how rare we are as single dads with custody of our kids. Um, but this all goes for single dads, co-parenting dads, all of this. Like, this helps everybody. The therapy, the talking, the being able to communicate with your partner. Um, it's going to help everybody in the long run. But as I was saying, most states allow it. 14 states, 13 states, 13 states don't require the judge to consider the child's preference. I believe one of those is New York and New Jersey. But 13 states don't require the judge to consider the child's preference. So they say, you go and live with mom, you're going to live with mom, unless there's some sort of problem. And that's disgusting to me. That should not be a thing, and that should be changed immediately. But I do know that 25 states uh are bound by the child's preference. So that's a plus. Now, that's very sad. All of it's very sad. Like, this should be a 50-50 look at child's preference. We should be looking at child's preference and who would do better. Not financially, not who can take care of the child. Who is best for the child? Financially is one thing. We'll get there in a second. We're going to talk about child support a little bit. I don't know much about it, but we'll dig into it just a hair, just enough to help you get through it. But child support, or the child's preference, is such a big thing. I know with me and my kid's mother, we've always been on who wherever she wanted to be, to a point. We didn't let her change her mind every other week, because she did try to do that for a while, or every month. Being me, we've always lived an hour apart, so that would never have worked. But when she was 11, she came to me and was like, I don't want to live with mom anymore. And I was like, you got another year to go, kid. And I don't know if your mom's ever going to go for that. And I said, you're going to call you, if you wanted this to happen, you're going to call your mother right here, and we're going to be on speakerphone, and we're all going to discuss this. So that there was no he said, she said, mom said this, dad said this. So there's none of that. We all sat down and talked. And me and her don't really sit down and talk very often. And now that Bailey's 15, almost 16 years old, we almost never talk. We almost everything is up to Bailey when it comes to where she wants, if she wants to see somebody, if she wants to, but I am the parent that deals with school, that deals with feeding her, that at the end of the day she's going to be. Now let's roll right on into the biggest argument in the entire world, and I have a big bone to pick with it, and I'm about to tell you why. Child support. Child support. Child support was built as a most of the child support laws were written in the 1950s and 60s, when the father was one of the only ones working. So mom, might have had a side job, might have done some sewing, but the father was the primary source of income. So if he left, he should have been hammered with child support. Nowadays, everybody works. Everybody works. So this should all be handled equally. Everybody has the ability to go out and get a job. Everybody has the ability to go out and get the assistance they need to put a child in daycare or school or anything above that. And I really do apologize if you don't agree with me on this. This is my opinion. I do want to state that, like, this is just my opinion and what I've dealt with. When Bailey was younger, I got ran through the ringer a few times, mostly by the court dealing with child support. It mostly didn't have anything to do with her mother. I had a very small court ordered child support that I would forget to pay, and me and her were very kosher with everything. If she needed money, she told me. I gave her a set amount of money a month, and that was all off the books. I do not recommend that. Anything you give your other parent in this process, make sure there's a paper trail. Make sure it is annotated so that if at any time you are taken to court, you can prove that you gave so and so money. If you're giving cash, make sure you're getting a receipt, a signed receipt saying, I received X amount of dollars from my baby daddy or my baby mama. Please, please, please remember that. That's probably going to be one of the best pieces of advice I'm going to give you, because I know of a couple right now that's going through a divorce, and he's getting run through the ringer, and she is threatening him with all kinds of nasty shit, all because of his job. And it's a very, very disgusting thing that I have thought of. Now, keep in mind, I said when Bailey was younger, I gave her money all the time. Since Bailey has moved in with me, I have not received one single dime from her mother. Not any kind of child support, because I figure it's pointless to try and take her for child support. I'm never going to get it. The court's never going to award me it. And here's the statistics on that: 39.6% of cases that are taken to court by a single father are won. 39.6 are awarded child support from the mother. 39.6. Now, versus women, it's 52.7% of cases that go with women are, I'm sorry, 50%. I messed these up. 52% of child support cases are women. 39.6 are men. Why? Why? And that so, like, men go for child support and they don't get awarded it. That's basically what it comes down to. It's so stressful to me. I like, this topic always gets me fired up. And do I want the child support from her? It would certainly help. But do I want the stress that comes along with it? Because I don't want to deal with that. Now, all right, now that we got statistics out of the way and all that other boring shit that fires me up and gets me all crazy, let's talk about co-parenting in real life. Now that the statistics are gone, this shit can go and we can actually talk. From my point of view, as a single dad, as a dad in a fresh relationship breakup, to a dad that sat on the other side and wasn't very there, to a dad that is the sole provider for the child. When we split up, it was like, I was in the Navy, and I was stationed overseas for 2 years, and the co-parenting was okay. She lived with my mom. I sent her $1,400 a month every month, and this is back in 2006. So that was quite a bit of money that I sent for child support while she was living with my mom. And when I got back, they hammered me because I had no paper trail for it. And I still had to pay a whole shit ton of money to her after we split up, because we split up about a year into me being overseas, because I had come home very early in my first tour for a death in the family, and I wasn't allowed to come back for the following year because of that. I couldn't, because you can only come home once a year or so. Um, that was such a toll on me, and this is before FaceTime. This is before, Skype was brand new. I had a Vonage phone in my room that I was able to talk to her. We got pictures and stuff. It was tough. So you guys out there that are doing this now, you have no excuse. You have no excuse not to talk to your kids. The dads that get up and bail and say, "Oh, it's too difficult," you have no excuse. You have no excuse. I live too far away. You have no excuse. There's no excuse for you not to be a none. And I don't like that. And come at my throat. I don't care. There is zero excuse for you not to be a dad in your child's life. I don't care how crazy the mom is. I don't care how mean she is to you. I don't care. I don't care if the family doesn't like you. I don't care if she's your answer. The answer is always she won't let me see my kid. Take her to court. Hit up one of them websites. Get yourself a lawyer and take her ass to court. Do it right now. Because I don't want to hear the shit. I don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to hear any of your excuses. Because there's no reason that you cannot co-parent. I mean, it might be tough. It might be tough. What I said about therapy and all that other shit, I know I made it sound real light and fluffy in the beginning. Sorry, we're getting hard now. You got to take care of your kid. So many times I hear about fathers abandoning their children and fathers not wanting anything to do with their child's life, and absent dads, and here once a month, here this or that. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, I get if you live across the country and you can only see your kid, during the summer months when they're out of school. That's one thing. But if you're like an hour, 2 hours away, you should be seeing your kid a few times a month at least. Come at me through. I don't care. I'll die. I'll die on that hill. That's a hill I'll die on for sure. So we move right along. So she's an infant, and I know a lot of you can be scared about infants, but if you listen to my last video, you'll know it's not that scary, and there's classes you could take. So man up, or grow up, or just grow up. I know it's scary, bro. It's okay. It's okay. You're not alone. And feel free to, if any of you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop a comment or message me on one of my other platforms. I'm always willing to help, and I can help direct you in a way that you might need. I'm here for it because I'm all about helping a single father in his life and in his journey of being a good single father, because there are not that many. They're just not. And I feel for these children. Uh, I want to touch on another subject that I hear, and this goes for you two ladies. Uh, the talking shit. This one, I will never understand what you get out of telling your kid, your dad's a piece of shit. Your mom's a piece of shit. Your mom is this, that, and the other thing. That child's never going to see them that way. They're never going to see them the way that you do. They're going to question it, and they are going to doubt it. And then at some point, 16, 17 years old, when they have their own thoughts and minds and they reconnect with that other parent, they're going to resent you so fucking bad. So fucking bad that they might not talk to you. Remember that when you're talking shit, when you are putting the other parent down, you aren't helping your situation. You might be helping it right now because they might not want to see the other parent, or they might want to live with you because of what you said to that other parent. But it's eventually going to come and bite you in the ass. I swear it on everything I love. I will put money on it every time. Every time. You want to talk shit on them when they're 4 or 5 years old? Guarantee you, 17, 18, 19 years old, that child's going to hate you. Because they're going to realize that maybe their mom or dad isn't so bad. And they're going to say, well, who kept that child, or who kept my parent out of my life for so long? And I've missed so many opportunities with this other person because of what you said to me, because of what you did. That's on you, bro. That's on you, buddy, pal, lady, girl. Don't talk shit on your other half. And it's going to be far, far healthier. If you are just hanging out and you want to talk shit behind everybody's back. You want to tell your buddies that she's a piece of shit, she's crazy. That's fine. I mean, it's not healthy, but it's fine. Don't do it in front of your kid. Don't do it to your kid. Don't put thoughts that don't need to be in your kid's head in their head. Oh, and here's the other part. The the flip side to that, if you're not saying anything and the other one is, when time comes to that child sees you and wants to be around you and realizes that you're not that bad of a guy, you're not that bad of a girl, they're going to love you even more. And there's a good chance that they're probably just going to come live with you or come stay with you because they see what their parent is. They see what their mother is. They see what their father is. They pay attention. Kids aren't stupid. I don't care who you are. We do not give enough credit to children. Children know people better than anybody else. They know good and bad people. They're like dogs. Dogs know good people, we say, right? So do kids. So do kids. Kids know a good person from a bad person, and they are going to figure it out on their own. They may be starstruck for 5 years about their mother or father being the best that there is, but that's not necessarily true. But please remember that. If you remember nothing else, please do not talk shit on the other parent in front of the other parent. I swear it. If you follow that, you're going to have such a better um, relationship with your child. Now that brings us to another point. Your relationship with your child, your communication. Communication is key in every relationship, right? Not so. Communication is always key. You need to keep an open line of communication between the other parent and your healthy wise. I understand there's some people are on drugs and they're out of their mind, or some people are alcoholics and they're out of their minds. But you have to be there. You have to remember that nobody's perfect. Mother's not perfect and you're not perfect either. So keep that open line of communication open with them, even if it's just because they're a piece of shit. You're never going to know anything if you shut them. And most likely, if the courts get involved, you're not going to be able to shut them out completely. So remember that. Oh, what's next? Let's get on to, oh, as far as communication goes, communicate with that child too. Let them know what is going on. They don't need to know that you and mom are fighting all the time. They don't need to know that this goes back to like not talking shit. But keep that line of communication. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be with right now? Are you okay going to Mother's this weekend? Are you okay going to Father's weekend? If they come back and they say when you get them back for the weekend, hey, how was your day? How was your weekend with your mom? Did you have fun? Was it this? Was it that? Don't immediately start putting negative things in her head like, oh, but she was just talking shit. I'm guilty of that sometimes. But we've been through a lot, and it just so happens that she does talk shit all of the. So I like to know about what she's saying because I'm a masochist and I like to hurt my own feelings. But do it. Like ask them. Be nice. Like be just as excited to get them back as you are when you're with them normally. And I know a lot of times they're going to come back with attitudes, or they come back with a different personality because said parent is way strict or said other parent is way too lenient. They're gonna, things happen, things, and you just can't let that affect you too bad. Give it a day or so, and they'll be back to normal, right? Living in your house. Don't worry about it. Um, Now, when it comes to communication throughout the rest of the co-parenting process, let them in their life. Don't make decisions on your own. If there is a school decision, talk to the other parent. If there is a school activity, parent teacher conference, anything like that, talk to the other parent. You have to have that line of communication. It's going to be better for the child in the long run. Swear it. I know it doesn't sound like it will be right now, but I swear to you, it will be far better in the long run if you include the other parent, if you show effort to include the other parent. Once you say, hey, there's a parent teacher conference this day. If you want to come, we can do it together. If you want to bring your husband and I bring my wife, let's do it because we are all a team. We are all a cohesive unit in this fight for our children. Let them know about things. If there's a baseball game, a basketball game, a sporting event, a cheerleading tryouts, let them know about all that. They should know about all that. They're parents. If the shoe was on the other foot, would you want to know about everything? Would you want to know what was going on in your child's life? I do. And I know a lot of times growing up for Bailey, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know about parent teacher conferences. I didn't know about sporting events. I didn't know about school dances. I didn't know about any of that. If you just communicate with the other half, they're either going to make themselves look good and come and support your child together, or they're not. And that's going to be one more tick on your child because your child's going to know that they weren't important enough for mom or dad to make time for them. But you were there and they're going to remember that. And it's so important. And that goes with any conversation, any heavy conversation. I understand that sometimes it might not feel comfortable and it might feel tough um, to let them in on that, or may feel selfish at times that you want to have that all to yourself, but it's not all yours to have. You made this child with somebody else and they should be in. Whether they want to or they don't, that part's not up to you. But they should be included as far as you go. Let's step into another subject. I mean, co-parenting in general is communication with everybody. Communication with the child, communication with the schools, communication with everybody involved. It's all about communication. I know when I was enrolling Bailey in school, her mother was always listed as a contact. I made sure the school had both of our emails to send out notifications or flyers or anything like that. That stuff all went out twice because all they have to do type it twice, two emails into their mass email send list, and you get everything. It's not a big deal. Make sure that happens. Um, let's what else can I touch on here? We talked about communication. We talked about child support. We talked about co-parenting in general. Kind of covered all the bases. But yeah, all I can say is my biggest thing is don't talk, or not your other half, your other parenting. Don't talk the shit, and don't let your partners talk shit. I know I deal with that a lot. I know people that their parents would, their partner would be like, "Oh, I don't know why you do that. I don't know why you do that. They're such a piece of shit. They're this and that and the other thing. You should put your foot down." I'm sorry, but that parent, as much as they are there to support and care for your child with you, they are not supposed to get in between you and child and mother or father. Like, that trifecta should stay that trifecta. And then as far as steps and partners go, that is their steps and partners are there to support and, I guess, help you in your parenting, not you and your joint parent. Like, step parents aren't part of the co-parent triad. Again, that's my opinion. I do think, don't get me wrong, step parents are very, 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 very important. And there's a lot of things that some step parents can provide that others won't. If you have a young one that wants to go fishing and hunting, and dad doesn't do that, but stepdad or mom's boyfriend does, like, maybe he does that. And because that's what your kid wants to do. And don't, as a dad, I know that can be very, very, very disheartening to see like your kid getting close with a step parent, or moms with your kids getting close to stepmom. Like, you're never going to be replaced. Just, it's a bonus parent for that child, but they shouldn't come in between the trifecta of the parenting. That's where, that's all I have to say. Like, step parents are very important. Or, here you go. um Another, for instance, in raising a daughter, i I've had women in and out of my life. I've had lots of mentors for my daughter. Even if her mother is not teaching her things, she has had many women come in and out of her life and mentored her and helped her and took her to the next level. So she has all these different, I don't want to say motherly figures, but all these different feminine figures in her life that, kind of helped teach her how to do makeup. They taught her how to, like, I learned how to put her hair up. And I had to have period talks and stuff like that with her, which wasn't my favorite thing to do, but it was very much more comfortable when a stepmom or a stepdad, or even a friend, like a friend that's just a girl that can come in and be there for your daughter. Ladies, mothers out there, that I think it's just as important for you as a single mom to have some sort of male influence in your son or daughter's life, or in your son's life, to show him those things, that because there are things that mothers teach that dads can't, and there are things that dads teach that mothers can't. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like, don't be fearful of another male figure coming into your child's life, or another female figure coming into your child's life. Don't be scared of that. Think about it like this is somebody else to help your kid. Because helping your kid is what you want. You want your child to grow and succeed, to be the most amazing person they can possibly be. So if there is another person to help hold that weight, why not accept it? But that's about all I have. That's co-parenting in a nutshell. That's the Bobby V vivid way of parenting, I guess, on the co-parent front. We could talk about my other kinds of styles of parenting in another video. Um, but thank you for being here, and thanks for listening. I hope that you do the best that you can, and I hope you take some of what I said to heart and just run with it. Just run with it, because it's amazing. So thank you. Have a great time. Again, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, comment. Let me know how I'm doing. If there is a subject or topic you'd like me to touch on, leave it in the comments. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm all ears and all eyes available to look for new content and new ideas outside of what I already have. So don't ever feel like nervous to reach out to me. It might take me a while to respond, but I'm here for it. Have a great day. You guys are awesome.